So it's Monday and we finished up with our framing on Friday for the main section of this project. So it's a good opportunity just to take some time and talk about what we're doing. This is a relatively unique project in the sense that we're actually decking over some natural rock and down onto ground level. There's multiple levels involved. We've got some running cascaded steps. So good opportunity just to talk about a few things, a bit of advice if you're going to do something like this. You're installing a deck that's low to the ground, or if there's not enough ventilation below the deck, or you've got a situation where you've got a constant damp or constant moisture buildup, the absolute wrong thing to do is to use treated pine H3 framing, which is rated for external and above ground. But what they don't tell you is that when they say above ground, it needs to have a minimum clearance from the bottom of the lowest H3 member of timber to the ground of 15 centimeters. But typically, if you're going to install it and you want a gap of at least 30 centimeters or 300 millimeters for ventilation, and to make sure that that timber doesn't remain damp, because it will rot out sooner than it should. So in this environment, in this job, what we've got here is the old deck was built on top of this rock. It was done with the treated pine frame. Obviously, as I've just mentioned, that's probably not the right product to use, but I'll cut to a little take here and you can make up your own mind. Can we just talk about using some treated pine framing in the wrong environment? They say a picture says 1,000 words. I'll let you have a good look at this. Tell me what you think. Is that the right product? We have used an H4 rated product called Lowdeck. So this is the product. It's treated all around and it's impregnated all the way through with an H4 treatment, which makes it rated for in-ground contact, meaning it can sit in environments where there's a lot of damp, moisture buildup, or even really directly in contact with the ground. I've always been told that you don't need to treat the cut ends of the product because it's impregnated all the way through, but probably just to sell a bit more product, they've recently released this Lowdeck end spray, which is basically you just give it a quick spray to seal the end once it's been cut, and that then makes it maintain the warranty. This product is warranted for 25 years if it's in ground contact, and for 50 years if it's above ground or it's not in ground contact. So in order to get that 50-year warranty, you need to make sure that no part of the deck is touching the ground or is going to be sitting in constant damp. So if you come over here, I'll show you what we're dealing with. So we were installing the deck on this rock face, and it's very low to the ground in order to have the steps all end at the right level and be code compliant. And just come in over here, what you'll be able to see, we actually had, it's Monday morning, we had some really good rain over the weekend, in fact last night, which was fantastic, because what that's done, you can probably see if you have a look at the edge of the joist, all of the the sand that's been sprayed up from the amount of rain that we had here last night. And what that's shown us is that the work that we did to cut away at the rock and install all the drainage points and build up little low points where there was moisture buildup, drilling a hole through to the low point on the other side, just making sure that it's clear. We'll clear that out before the deck goes down, and that'll allow most of the moisture to drain away. Has worked perfectly because big rain last night, and if you look around, you'll see there's no water that's been pooling. Over here, you might be able to see there's one of our drainage points that goes out through the rock. There's another one under the stairs there. We have had to build up a little bit in order to get that point drained. And then around this main section of the rock, we have a drainage point going down over there. And we've built up so that essentially there's no moisture buildup under the deck. So that's probably the first element that I just wanted to cover, which is using the right product in the right environment. So this is an H4 product. It means that it's got a 50-year warranty. We're putting a composite deck on it. Step 2 is obviously the work that we've done here to make sure that all the low points in the rock and any moisture that could potentially build up has an escape path and is going to drain away, and make sure that in the future we're not dealing with issues. But then over and above that, something else that we did was if we had used, because we've used a bearer and joist system to make sure that the deck is perfectly level and perfectly flat, if we had used the Lowdeck in this environment, which was initially the plan, it would have meant that some of the product was touching the rock, and over years you were going to get buildup of dirt, mud, muck, all that type of thing, and that would have then meant that that part of the deck frame, which is the structural part of the deck frame, would be in ground contact and essentially then only have the 25-year warranty. So what we decided to do was we ripped all of the bearers out and we went and we replaced it with a aluminium frame for the bearers, which is any point that's touching the ground or will in the future potentially be sitting in moisture. Everything else is then elevated off that, giving it good ventilation, and that just means that the warranty, the 50-year warranty, and the ability for this deck to pretty much outlast myself, the homeowner, and the rest of the house, hopefully, is built in. So let's get to it. We're going to start putting on some decking boards today. Pretty exciting. Took me best part of 2 weeks to just frame out this whole main deck. It goes all the way around to the shower area and the pool seats with some storage, and there was a lot of stairs, a lot of detail in the framing, but it's all perfect now, and so a perfect frame makes decking much easier.